Robin Williams was not just a comedian. He was a mirror held up to the absurdity and beauty of life, a man who could make millions laugh while carrying a weight that no one could see, and the story of how he rose, fell, and fought is one of both genius and tragedy. Born into a home where laughter often stood in for love, Robin learned early that to be noticed was to perform, and to perform was to survive. Every move to a new city meant building a new persona, every classroom a fresh stage where being the funny kid kept loneliness at bay. As he grew, his gift turned from shield to sword, winning him friends, teachers, audiences, and eventually Hollywood itself. But even as his fame exploded, the fragile foundation beneath him cracked under the pressure of expectation. Robin's improvisational genius on Mork and Mindy was not a scripted miracle but a desperate, manic energy that thrived in chaos and burned like a fuse. The very thing that made him special became the thing that consumed him. Drugs and alcohol were not the indulgence of a rock star lifestyle. They were chemical breaks on a mind that ran too hot, a way to silence the static when the applause ended and the quiet crept in. For years, he was a man split in two. The stage Robin, lightning in a bottle, and the private Robin, quietly questioning his worth, his purpose, his identity when no one was watching. Hollywood, fickle and cruel, eventually began to drift away from his particular brand of brilliance. Box office failures whispered what his mind already feared, that the world was moving on, that the gift was fading, that maybe he was fading too. Layer by layer, the scaffolding that kept him upright, career, marriage, sobriety, began to wobble. He fought, always fought. For his children, for his craft, for the hope that a new role, a new project, a new morning would bring back the feeling that life was still worth the noise it required. But then came the disease no one saw coming, a silent predator in his own brain. Lewy body dementia, a neurological storm that eroded memory, stability, and reality itself. A disease so cruel it left enough awareness to feel the loss in real time. Imagine knowing your mind, the very engine of your career, your connections, your jokes, your humanity, was slipping away like sand through fingers you could no longer feel. Robin, who had always outperformed despair by turning it into art, could no longer separate thought from hallucination, anxiety from threat, sadness from neurological assault. The world, once full of characters and possibilities, narrowed into a maze of confusion, fear, and chemical imbalance. A private war invisible to those who only saw the smile. In his final days, he wasn't giving up on life. Life as he had known it was being taken from him piece by piece, and the disease had begun to impersonate despair so convincingly that no distinction remained. Those who loved him were preparing for treatment, for hope, for maybe some version of healing, unaware that his perception of reality had already crossed a line science couldn't pull him back from. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams left the world not as a man defeated by weakness, but as a human being overwhelmed by a disease that weaponized his own mind against him, a neurological hijacking that rewired impulse, mood, and judgment until the man who once filled theaters with laughter could no longer find a way out of the dark. The loss wasn't just of a performer but of a reminder that brilliance and suffering often share a border so thin it's invisible to everyone but the one walking it. Robin's life remains a testament to the complexity of the human heart. How someone can be a beacon for others while navigating storms alone. How even the warmest light can burn silently. How joy and pain can inhabit the same soul at the same time without canceling each other out. His story forces us to look beyond the smile, beyond the awards, beyond the roles, and ask not just what made him great, but what made him human. And in doing so, it challenges us to see those around us, even the ones who seem unstoppable, as people who may need gentleness, patience, and a safe space to lay down the weight they carry quietly. In the end, Robin Williams gave the world a gift few ever can. He made us feel seen, whether in laughter, in tears, or in the uncomfortable recognition that life is both a comedy and a tragedy playing out in the same breath. And while his exit will always feel like a wound, his legacy reminds us that compassion is the only cure for the invisible battles others may be fighting every single day. Perhaps the best way to honor him is not with silence or sadness, but with kindness loud enough to cut through the noise of someone else's quiet despair, with awareness sharp enough to notice when the strongest person in the room begins to dim, and with courage steady enough to sit with another soul in the dark until they remember where the light is. Robin's story, at its core, is a reminder that even the brightest stars need somewhere safe to fall, and that sometimes the most powerful thing we can offer is simply to be there, to listen, to hold space, to remind one another that no one has to carry the weight of this world alone.